Hi, everybody. Welcome to part 2 of Should I, Shouldn't I? Yes. We're going to continue our conversation today on this whole thing that we do in our human living about, well, should I do this or shouldn't I do this? Should I do this or shouldn't I do this? Is it okay to do this or what about that? And so what I want to reintroduce is the view of scientific metaphysics. That's what we're exploring. So part 1 was 2 weeks ago. We weren't on last week due to technical stuff. And this week we're back. So welcome back, everybody. And I want to start out with the last quote from last week. But before I do that, hi, Betty. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thanks.
Excellent. Are you ready?
I think so.
Okay, well, good. I'm glad you think so. I wouldn't know what I would have said if you would have said no. All right, so here we go. So the first quote is from Mind is the Athlete, Betty Albee's book, Mind is the Athlete, on page 190. This action removes you from the paradox level of belief for moments at a time and demonstrates the supremacy of living from the fact that being is the source of existence. So, as way of bringing us back into the conversation, Betty, unpack that a little bit with us vis-a-vis the should I, shouldn't I, yes theme.
Yeah, I'm not particularly relating it to that passage that you read, but I was thinking Margaret Laird wrote, "The human is human because it's divine, and not human for the same reason, because I'm divine." Shakespeare said, "There's a divinity that shapes our ends." I think in everyday, day in and day out living, we totally forget, if we ever even thought it, that there is a divine being present, calling itself Betty or Kim or Shirley or Henry or James. That divinity, that divine being, does know what needs to be known each minute. And we don't really rely on that very much when we're in a dilemma. And we should, because it always knows the answer, always. So you're never without the help you need. Whether you're willing to listen to it is another question. Yep. So we need to develop some muscle in the area of trusting the intuitive presence that's divine, whole, perfect all the time and always present.
Yeah. So what I want everyone to know is that this is sponsored by the Institute of Metaphysical Science at our website at scientificmetaphysics.org. And if at any time you want to enter into the comments, if you're on YouTube or Facebook, you can enter comments. We will get them. That'll be a little delay, but we will respond to them. So any questions, any comments, any feedback, please enter those in. And if you like this conversation, thumbs up and hearts are always appreciated. All right. So back to the topic at hand. All right. So, yeah, so essentially, the next quote is from Mind is the Athlete, is the repetitious view varies little with circumstances and environment.
Where are you?
I'm with
191.
Oh, I went. Okay, wait. Yep. That's my bad. Sorry. Forget that. We already did that last week. That's something you can go back and listen to. This one is, sorry, thought I had the right one. This one is Mind is the Athlete, page 191. Willingness places you in the space of peace and joy and power. And willingness is like the big deal in all of it, isn't it, Mom? Or Betty?
It makes a big difference.
Betty, Mom.
Yeah. Most of the time, we really aren't aware that we're unwilling. So when you listen to yourself, you come to the statement, yes, but. That's the word that should get your attention, because everything after that word but tells you all the reasons you're not willing. So willingness is a big item, and we don't ever really recognize our own unwillingness to be present.
Yep. Yeah. So willingness, no matter what the look is, no matter what the picture is in your life, it's being willing that opens up the whole new realm of possibility. The willingness to have it look exactly the way it looks and exactly the way it doesn't look, and to move forward. Should I or shouldn't I? You intuitively know. Move forward. The answer is yes.
Yeah, and take action. Take action.
And it doesn't mean just any action or, and just say, well, I did something, right? It's about you understanding intuitively what is the right action that's appropriate. And if you look, So it's that we're actually looking at. Sorry, I'm adjusting my camera. But it's that we're looking for, right? So,
well, and you want to really avoid the thing that sounded like in the comments you just made, that whatever you did wouldn't be okay.
Right.
You want to avoid the self-criticism in there, because that's always locked into the belief that the thing you see in the mirror is who I am.
Right.
And that's not who I am. That's just what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
But who I am is intuitive, is reflective presence of the action of the God idea.
Yep.
So if I take action, there's just one thing going on. It will be fine.
Right.
I don't want to evaluate. I don't want to analyze. I don't want to try to figure it all out. I just want to be calm and see that there is something present that knows, and then do what there is to do.
Right. Right. So the quote is, willingness places you in the space of peace and joy and power, regardless of appearances. Reality is what's present. And that's just what you just said.
Yep.
And going on, it says power and presence. You say, hang on. You say power and presence exist in the discernment of that fact.
Yeah.
Of the fact of reality present. Yes?
Yep.
Okay.
So, we don't have to be apologetic about what we're up to. We don't have to feel uncertain and in doubt. We don't have to be afraid we'll make a mistake. All of that stuff that goes with trying to figure out the picture. The picture will figure itself out. You be present to who you are.
Right.
And just relax, because the charm is there, the knowledge is there, the presence is there. Just walk through.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. And then you go on to say your only real need is to discover the who, what, where, and how of yourself.
Yep. So who am I being?
Mm-hmm.
What's going on? Where am I? How is it all going about?
So break that down a little bit more, like with examples.
Like, who am I being?
Like, who am I? Who am I being? How would you answer that? Like, what would you look at?
Betty, who's looking in the mirror, wondering if her hair should be combed or if she should wear a different dress or whatever? Am I being that? Or am I being present as being, no matter what it looks like? There's reality present.
Okay.
And reality, which is grounded in perfection, is all-knowing, all-seeing, all-acting, all-wise intelligence. Relaxing into that, on I go. And the rest of that whole sentence is taken care of. The who, what, why, where, and when, and how, it all falls into place.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Now let's look at some Christian Science Re-Explored by Margaret Laird. So on Christian Science and CSR, page 122, she said, the nature of infinity is divine discontent, a wanting that cannot be satisfied. Say more about that. What?
Yeah, well, it sort of explains itself as you go on. So go ahead and read a little more.
Okay. Goes on and says, looking deeply into my own being, I discover that there are wants beyond wants and not wants. In this discovery, my wanting takes on new form. And I realize that he who wants does not want because he lacks, but because infinity is his nature.
Yeah, and that's a big item right there. If we could take on a real perception of infinity, we would get a lot of our answers right away. Infinity does not repeat itself. There's no duplication. Infinity is always right current. It's there and gone, there and gone, there and gone, without ever any repetition, without any stumbling over anything. It moves on. Most of us are lost in the analogy of what we are thinking about rather than being present to what's going on.
Yeah.
We get lost latching onto something that we want to sit and meditate over and think about and figure out and analyze and all that sort of thing.
Right.
But actually, intelligence functioning is moving right along, click, click, click.
Right.
And if I'm present to what's actually going on, I'm going to be moving right along as well.
Yeah.
Because it's the nature of infinity to always be present, to always be current, to always be accurate, to always be intelligent, to evidence perfection. So I want to be present.
Yeah.
And the best way to be present is to let go of the belief about myself and really stay present to the source that is having me occur. It's divine, it's perfect, it's whole right now, right now, right now, right now, right now.
Right.
And it's not like dragging something forward. It's like it's here and gone, here and gone, here and gone.
Right. In every moment.
Moment by moment.
Yep.
And it's accurate. And there's nothing that needs to inform it because it is the informing of perfection.
Uh-huh.
And it's identified by the presence that you are. Like you're identifying it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to say that any other way.
No, I think it's good. I think it's good. Now on CSR on page 123, Margaret says, we need no longer search for truth. Truth is what is, and our only need is to be willing to relinquish options, concepts, conditioned thinking. And then she goes on in that to say, this does not mean that we will not respect our opinions or point of view, but in recognizing them as mere abstractions of truth and therefore continually changing.
Yep.
So again, another way of saying the same thing is be willing. And should I, shouldn't I? Yes, act.
Yeah.
Whichever the way that is.
Be right, because there isn't anything else present.
Right.
It's a belief about something if it's in question, but the facts are always present and they're always accurate and they're right on. Yep.
Yep. And so on 123 further down, she says, while our intuitions of reality, our instinctive preference for the good remain conceptualized into this is good and that is bad. We will not, hang on, it continues, we will not argue for their rightness as against the wrongness of another view. And with truth as our standpoint, our abstractions will increasingly approximate truth. So that was the whole thing. It took three.
Abstractions.
Say that again.
You know what she's referring to in that word abstractions.
What?
The way it looks, the language. What's showing up?
Right, because that would be an abstraction of the reality present.
That's right.
A point of
It's
view.
a point of view of what's going on. Yeah.
Okay.
So as you stay with the facts of being, those points of view, the language that's showing up that is the language of your understanding is going to be clearer. You know, it's like as you rise, so does the language rise.
Mm-hmm.
Because your language is your feedback on who you're being. So if I'm being present to the facts of reality, my feedback is going to be a whole lot clearer than if I'm playing around with the picture.
Right. Right. Okay. All right. And then Deborah, we have a comment from Deborah who says, and I have a delay, so I apologize.
The power is in the now. That's what Deborah says. I can see it.
Yeah. Yeah, the power is in the now.
Yeah. And of course it is. And the being is in the now. If it isn't now, when is it? It's always now.
Yep.
I can't really rely on what I call a memory of what was, because that, again, is a point of view. The fact being is long gone that I'm remembering as if it existed now, because it doesn't. And if I can stay present to right now, I'm home free. Because peace and joy and power are present right now, having me show up. All is infinite mind, infinitely manifest. And this is the way it looks. So I have no argument with the look. I have no argument with the present. All is well. I don't know whether I'm on and whether Kim's not, or whether I've been cut off. But anyway, we'll continue. Mrs. Laird said, while our intuitions of reality, our instinctive preferences for the good remain conceptualized, that is, I have a point of view about them, this is good and this is bad and so on, we continue to be in trouble with that point of view. But if we are radical in our acknowledgement of the God idea of good in all ways, we will lose our preference, our partiality for good versus evil, our judgments, our opinions, and that loss will recognize our good that's already present, allowing that language to show up. That is my current understanding. So I'm home free either way, but not if I depend on the picture. But if I stay with the fact and just leave the picture alone, I don't know why it looks that way, but it's okay. It's just language. It's just my effort to see or to be. But the fact of my being, the fact of my seeing is what's ruling the whole thing.
Right. And I'm not sure if you covered this last point. My internet is really poor right now. So this is the last point to be made in this conversation. Truth cannot be confined. What was good for our fathers is not good enough today.
Yeah, this is why we want to really, what I would call, sit loose in the saddle. We want to look around and see that the motivating, constituting principle of the world we're walking through right now is divine. It's perfect. It's whole. It's joyous. It's free. That's true no matter what the picture looks like. It's a fact of being. It's the constitution of the individuality showing up, calling itself you and me and them and those and us and
Right.
we, all those pronouns and synonyms for what we think is being. But the fact of being, the fact of life functioning, the fact of truth presencing, looking like the world we walk through, I want to be in tune with that principle as I walk on. And I know that I'll have every answer I need. I know that I will never lack. I know that the answer to questions is present now. And I know that that presence is demanding to be recognized. So I want to acknowledge the facts whenever I can and keep walking on.
Yep. All right. Well, given our internet issues that I'm having, I think that we can call it early tonight because I can't stay connected. I keep getting bad internet signals from StreamYard. So anyways, I want to thank everybody for your participation. And if you have any questions, please post them and we will watch for them. And other than that, we're going to call this one early. What do you say about that, Betty?
Well, I just wanted to tell everybody, too, that if you have a subject you'd like us to discuss from the point of view of scientific metaphysics, let us know because we'll be glad to take it up. And thanks for being there.
And Sarah Busey, and Sarah Busey has said a comment. The idea of transportation first was walking, then wheels, then carriages, then cars, then planes, and on and on. So the whole picture will be revealed, revesseled. Anyways, so that's what Sarah just said.
Yeah, revisited probably.
So anyways, I want to thank all of you for your participation. We'll be on again next week, Wednesday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Central. And whatever it is, if you have a question, should I or shouldn't I? You know what to do. Just be in action. And until then, we'll see you next week.